Fly this helicopter and I'll marry you." The whole rooftop burst into laughter. The CEO, Elena Moore, a woman of power, pride, and impossible challenges, stood there in her designer dress, holding a champagne glass. Around her, the city glittered below like a galaxy of dreams she ruled. But in that moment, her eyes weren't on the skyline. They were fixed on the janitor standing awkwardly beside a mop bucket. His name was Noah Reed. He had the kind of face you'd forget. Quiet, unassuming, yet there was something in his eyes, calm, knowing. The kind of silence that made people underestimate him. When she said those words, everyone expected him to laugh or walk away. But he didn't. He just looked at her for a moment and said, softly, "Do you really want to see me fly?" And that was the moment, the exact second. The laughter around them began to die. What nobody in that glittering crowd knew was that Noah Reed once flew helicopters through war zones, saving lives. Until one mission cost him everything. Noah was hired as a janitor at the Moore Aviation building 6 months ago. He came quietly, mopped floors, fixed lights, never spoke unless spoken to. The staff joked about how he always stared at the aircrafts with a strange sadness, as if remembering another life. He lived in a small room near the hangar with a picture of a woman and a little boy on his table. Both gone now, victims of a crash that Noah blamed himself for. After that day, he had vowed never to fly again. But fate had its own plans. Elena, the CEO of Moore Aviation, was known for her arrogance and perfectionism. She built the company her father left her into one of the biggest names in private air transport. But her pride had turned sharp, especially toward people she considered beneath her. Noah, being a janitor, was an easy target. One afternoon, she stormed into the hangar after an argument with her pilot. A client had cancelled $1 million deal because her helicopter prototype couldn't pass a simple demonstration flight. "Useless!" she shouted, slamming her heels on the hangar floor. "Is there anyone here who can fly that damn thing?" Her team looked away. The pilot had quit. The others were silent. That's when she noticed Noah standing by the corner, holding a broom. She smirked. "You janitor," she mocked. "You seem to like staring at helicopters all day. Want to give it a try?" People laughed. Noah said nothing. He just looked up and gave a small nod. "If that's what you want, ma'am." The room froze. "You," Elena scoffed. "Fly my prototype. If you can even start that engine, I'll marry you." She said it to humiliate him, to get a laugh from her team. But Noah's quiet answer was like a soft storm. "All right." He walked past her, calm, steady, and climbed into the helicopter. Elena's laughter faded when she saw how naturally his hands moved over the controls. No hesitation, no guesswork. Every switch, every lever, like second nature. And then the engine roared to life. The rotor blades began to spin, the air filling with thunder. Technicians backed away, shouting. Elena's wine glass slipped from her hand. In seconds, Noah lifted the aircraft off the ground. Smooth, precise, effortless. He didn't just fly it, he commanded it. The crowd watched in disbelief as he maneuvered the helicopter with elegant precision. Circling, hovering, dipping low, then rising again into the sunset. Elena's breath caught. When he landed, he stepped out quietly and said, "Next time you mock someone, make sure you know who you're talking to." Later that evening, Elena found him sitting by the hangar, looking at the same photo again. "Who are you?" she asked softly. Noah didn't look up, no one important anymore. Or she hesitated. "You used to fly," he nodded. "Used to." for people who needed saving. But one day, I couldn't save the ones who mattered most. His voice broke. My wife and son. The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time, Elena didn't see a janitor. She saw a broken man who once carried the sky. Days passed. She began visiting him, bringing him coffee, asking him about flying. She was fascinated by his calm wisdom. Slowly, something changed in her. The arrogance faded, replaced by quiet respect. He taught her what leadership really meant. Not control, but compassion. Not pride, but humility. When her company faced a new crisis, a faulty aircraft mid-flight with passengers on board, everyone panicked. The pilot froze. Elena's hands trembled. And then Noah stepped forward again. He didn't ask permission. He just went. Minutes later, a LEV feed showed the same janitor guiding the damaged helicopter safely to the ground, saving everyone aboard. The world saw it. The media called him the hero janitor. But to Elena, he was the man who reminded her what real greatness looked like. Weeks later, on the same rooftop where she once mocked him, Elena stood again. No champagne this time, just a nervous smile. She looked at Noah and whispered, "I once said if you could fly this helicopter, I'd marry you." Noah looked at her, eyes filled with gentle disbelief. She smiled softly. I wasn't joking anymore. In the end, it wasn't about flying. It was about falling and finding someone who'd help you rise again. And as the helicopter lifted one more time, this time with both of them inside, the city lights below blurred into gold. Sometimes life's cruelest mockery leads you to its kindest fate.